welcome everyone, and this is lesson 3, and we're going to be talking about the torso. Last week I mentioned that I wanted to do the shoulders and the upper arms as well, but I feel like just for time's sake and just so it's not going to be so difficult to understand, we're just going to deal with the torso. So I have to already apologize because I know that this next step of drawing the torso is going to be really rough for a lot of you, and so I'm just warning you in advance that this is probably going to be something that most of you will drop off at this time. So here it is, the torso. Aha, I was just kidding. It's just a line, and that's all you have to worry about. Really, what in this lesson, what we want to focus on is the spine. We're not going to be drawing this intricate spine with all the vertebrae and everything, but this is the spine of a human being. It is not an alien. This is what is in everybody's back, if you have a back, and it is what you use to bend and turn and swivel and all that sort of good stuff. So we are going to be talking about this and how this works in conjunction with the torso, the neck, the head, and the chest, because really there's got to be some sort of limitations in what you're drawing. Let's head over to page 2 here, and we're going to call this the limitations of the spine. So I'm going to start out with just the neck. The neck is part of your spine, and these are your limitations. Now, we already saw this, but then you have these this turn. When you're turning sideways, pretty much what your neck is capable of. Now, your head and your neck, your head can kind of rotate a little bit, your neck can bend, but really you can't go any much further than that, because what you're running into is organs and fat, and those things will stop you at a point to where your head can only turn so much. Now, you could say, well, I've been able to touch my head to my elbow. That's great, but your elbow can actually lift upward and meet your head. So it's not saying that your head can go further down. It's saying that your shoulder can go up and meet your head at a given point. Same thing on the other side. If you look at a side view at your head, these would be the limitations of your head looking downward and your head looking up. Now, again, you could say, well, when I look down, I can touch my chin almost to my chest, or to my neck. That's great, but we haven't even drawn the chin yet. Right now, we're just dealing with the circle head. So these would be the limitations, and I would say practice these. And we're going to do a couple of examples in just a little bit of how this actually works in real life. All right, so let's go to the next little drawing here. And here we have the actual spine. So yeah, so here you have the spine turning at an angle, but this really is about the gist of what your spine can do from turning side to side. Because again, and I'm just going to real quickly sketch this, if you have your chest and you have your ribs and you have your love handle area, there's only so much for this to bend before you start crushing ribs and lungs and in your vital organs. There's only so much you can do before those things start to have issues. So again, that is pretty much your limitations, and I would again practice these as well. And then now we'll just look at the side view. Leaning backward, there's only so much that your spine is going to be able to do before it starts to break, and that's why we titled this lesson "Don't Break Your Back." But yeah, so you're going to have this nice little angle here. You are able to bend forward just a little bit more, and then obviously we just have the static straight standing approach there. So. But these are your limitations, and if you have to, pause this area and just start drawing these and just get used to them. But more than this, I would say probably the best approach would be to find some pictures online, or if you still get magazines, grab a magazine, get some paper, some like tracing paper or something, and do what we're about to do right now. and just practice with real life people. All right, so let's go ahead and get that going. We're gonna start with this one. So this right here, because of the legs, because of the arms, because of her position, just looks like she's like torquing her body like crazy, and you're just going like, okay, but that has nothing to do with what Justin just showed me. But I am going to show you that that is actually not true. That we find those limitations actually working here. So what I did is I actually turned this, I rotated this around, and I brought down the opacity because I want us to be able to see the sketching that we're about to do. But what I want to do is we always want to start with the head, and I'm going to go ahead and get that circle done. Now see what I told you, we haven't even focused on the chin yet. We're just focusing on the head. And there's our little nose and eyes. We have a neck. Okay, remember, keep your neck half the distance of your head. And then it looks like we've got, we're going to draw our chest, and it looks like we're doing it kind of in a three-dimensional form here. All right, so there's our taco. And then from here, we'll go ahead and draw the spine. Now you can actually see the spine coming here, but we're just drawing the center of this area, and so that's why I drew that there. But let's go ahead and get rid of that. And as you can see, the body is leaning back about the same as what we drew. The neck then starts to rotate upward, and then the person's looking up. But that's really all you're seeing there. With everything else that she's doing, it just makes it look a lot more intense. All right, let's go to this next page. So we've got this guy is doing some kung fu. Now I would say pick things that like yoga, pick things like sports, boxing, football, all those sorts of things, because that's where you're going to get your characters doing the most amount of movement and just kind of torquing their bodies in the craziest of ways. If you just get people walking, it's going to be kind of boring, and you start to realize there's a trend there. There's only so much that a person does normally every day. When you're doing stuff like this, your body is definitely going to be doing a lot more crazy stuff. So again, what I did is I reduced the opacity here and made it to where we can do some drawing here. So let's go ahead and start with this head again. All right, let's go ahead and start with this head again, and I'll draw the circle. There we go. There's our eyes and our nose and our neck. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and draw this area and get the bend of that spine. All right, and if I was to get rid of that, then what you see is now you just see that he's actually not doing that too crazy of a movement. You start to realize that a lot of what we see when we're looking at a human doing something like this is the legs and the arms, and because of it, we just immediately go, okay, I can never draw that. But if we just look at what we already know how to draw, you realize, okay, I can do that. I can work with that right now. And later, as we start adding arms and legs, we can start doing all the wild positions of those. But for now, this is something I think is doable for all of us. All right, so here we go. We got this guy doing a karate kick, and it's looking pretty serious. And so what I did is I turned him sideways so he's upright. And that's something that I do a lot. If I'm doing some crazy movement with a character, I'll probably draw him in a position that I'm comfortable with, and then I can just rotate the character around and do something and then make him look like he's falling or kicking or doing some crazy movement. We'll start with the head here, and we'll draw this. All right, and here's our eyes, our nose, draw the chest. Now this chest, if you notice, it's actually kind of leaning, the bottom is kind of actually coming out toward us. So this is where I would say the trickiest part right now. What you have to do is finding out how that chest is kind of facing you. And in this case, I kind of feel like I would be able to see this part of the chest. Okay, and then here we have the torso. So let's go ahead and get rid of the picture, and there we go. We have this guy, and again, it doesn't look like he's doing something all that crazy. So what I was telling you before, if I was to rotate this and then turn it, then it would look like he's coming at you from the side view, like that, and it would be easier for me to do that than to start trying to draw the character like this. All right, so I'm going to go to the last photo here, and we've got a football guy looking like he's about to break his leg, and he's just getting hit super hard. Hopefully he held on to the ball, but let's go ahead and reduce the opacity and bring him upright. So this guy actually is pretty simple. He's not doing too much with what we are working with today. And the helmet actually provides the center line, so yay, look at that. So there's the head, and we'll take the neck now. You have to keep in mind he's got padding on, so his shoulders are a little bit lower than here. So I'm going to go like that. So that's where knowing the length of the neck is really going to be helpful for you, because you could forget and go, oh, I'm gonna start drawing his shoulders here, but that means his neck is super short. No, it's not. His neck stays the same length. We'll keep those, and then we'll just draw what we know to be true. His chest is going to be somewhere around here. Actually, I made that a little bit wide, and we'll do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw the rest of the spine. Now, if you notice, I always tried to make that arc the same, or meet the arc of the neck, because the neck is connected to the spine. If I draw the spine over here and do that, then something's wrong. So you got to remember to always double check what you're doing, to make sure that things just look proportionate, that the arc of the spine is working for you. But here we go, and wow, look at that. Doesn't look like he's doing something all that amazing just yet. Again, it's the legs and the arms that really set the tone for what your character is doing, but the head, the chest, and the spine usually are pretty limited in what they can do. And yeah, as you can see, these would be your limitations overall. And I would say from this point to next week, see if you can draw like maybe 5 to 10 of these types of photos, where you're drawing over the photo, and just seeing what each of these people is doing. And it's going to really start giving you some muscle memory as far as how to draw these things. And you'll realize it's just not as hard as it looks, drawing the spine and what the chest and the head are doing with it. But until then, I will see you next week, where we will actually work with the shoulder and the upper arm, and continue onward. Until then, God bless.